Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm having a very wonderful day, a very peaceful start to my day. I woke up feeling wonderful. I had so much joy, so much peace, and I just felt really good. It was really light in the air, so I knew something good was going to be in store today. I looked back, I got up, ate breakfast, and looked back over yesterday's video and realized some things. And I realized, whoa, this was some heavy content. But I realized I have to go back and break some things down and dig deeper. This is how you start to understand things. And so I kept feeling freedom. I just felt free. So I said, okay, I can dig that. Realize I said, Spirit, I can dig that because I see a lot of people that simply aren't free. And like I said this morning, the key to life, the key to spirituality, the key to making your life successful is truly finding your ultimate freedom. So I said, okay, now let me break this down a bit. Let me tell people, let me show them what did it means. How did I get to freedom? Because I feel free, you guys. I have my ultimate freedom. And I thank God that I have my ultimate freedom. But, there's some steps to this thing. So he gave me some bullet points. First thing I wrote down was the 4 points of freedom. If you guys, let me say this now. If you feel like you need to get you some pen and paper like I do, keep it near you. Get you some pen and paper. I'll wait. And again, you can always go back and watch this again. But this is going to be real good because it was good for me. Because it made me realize that there is a process for everything. Then when these points started to arise and I got bullet points, it started to show me my own journey. And I said, yes, thank you for doing it because now I can show people what the result looks like. I am a living testament of what the result looks like. And so let's get some pen and paper and let's take some notes today. He broke this thing down. The Spirit broke this thing down to me. He, she, whatever it is. First, let me give thanks for you guys for viewing. Let me give thanks to the Spirit of the ancestors for being with me and flowing through me. Let me give thanks to the saints and angels. Let me give thanks to the universe. Let me give thanks to the Creator, the Most High, for flowing through me, imparting in me wisdom and knowledge, making me see things for what they really are, the spiritual and the natural. That constant flow that I have. I thank God for that. So he broke this down. Sometimes I feel it as a male presence, so sometimes I'll say he and sometimes I'll say she, depending on how it came. So today, he broke it down as the 4 points of freedom. Mental freedom, spiritual freedom, physical freedom, and financial freedom. These are all things that we acquire, that we all want to obtain, but we all, struggle with truly getting there. No one has given us an outline. No one has shared with us their journey. And most times, that journey is universal. That shows how we're all connected. But sometimes we get so caught up in self that no one is willing to impart the wisdom. So I'm going to do my best just to do what's given to me. I hope it helps somebody. It does help me, and I've seen it how it helped other people. So mental freedom. Let's start there. Because this is what a lot of people battle with. Mental freedom. I kind of dug deeper in that and I got reflection. And reflection is so heavy because reflection causes you to think about some things. It causes you to go back and understand some things about your past. And a lot of times we find ourselves stuck or we reach this plateau. And we ask God, why are we still experiencing the same thing? Why have we not experienced any form of change? Why are we still here? And then you start thinking about your past because you start asking God to show you. Then when he starts showing you, you run from it because then you find yourself comfortable and you don't want to put in the work. But now, this is what I'm hearing. It's time to do some work. So we got to start understanding our past. Let's break that down a little bit. Go all the way back to when you were a child and how you viewed the world then. Because you still can remember. Trust me, if you push yourself, you can remember. Think about how you viewed the world then. and how you were so free. Nothing mattered. You did what felt natural to you. You were happy. The thrill for life, the thrill to do good was already in you. The willpower to love beyond race, beyond identity. You just found the good in people. Think about that. Then you get caught up in life experiences and other things, other people's expectations, what you feel is right. You have to now find a way to adapt to this new world because, like I said yesterday, children are the purest form and the closest form besides the ancestors to the divine. They are true messengers. What happens is we steer them wrong because they have to relearn a new way of living. For example, like I said yesterday, my coworker told me how her daughter explained her whole past life at the age of 2. Family and all, gave you names and descriptions at the age of 2, saying, I lived before this time. Understand that, yes, a spirit is never born and it never dies. So let's start reflecting and then acknowledge where the shift happened. The hurt that we're still holding on to, that secret jealousy that's hidden beneath our heart, the secret malice that subconsciously comes upon us, and the feelings that it invokes. Then we're wondering why we're dealing with headaches. We're wondering why we're having blood complications. Simply because we could not get our heart in order. We're still harboring some things. So then that moves us into the stage of forgiveness. And that's what we struggle with a lot of times, is forgiving, truly forgiving. And believe it or not, it's simpler than you think. You can forgive someone that's not even here. You can forgive someone and not even have to see them face to face. If you let that go in your mind, the power of the mind is so wonderful that if you forgive them in your mind and just let that go, feel how light you feel. You just go through life like you just was reborn. That's a revival. The word revival means bring back what I once was, the purest form of what I once was. So when you ask God for a revival, he has to take you to that point to be revived. He has to make you realize some things in order to feel what revival is. Then receiving, that moves us, once you can get the forgiving part down, let it saying, you know what? Yeah, you hurt me. If you believe in Jesus, Jesus was hurt in many of forms. In every form, actually. Mentally, spiritually, and physically. He went through all of that. So if that's your firm belief, follow that. Follow the spiritual content. Follow me now. So we are destined to go and experience some things so God can get our attention. To wake us up to who we once were, that we stepped away from. So now it's time for you to receive the message. Ask God, what are you showing me? What are you trying to show me from this? After he shows you, and you see it clearly, it's time for you to either make the decision to use it as a weakness or strength. Because we believe that God gets the glory out of everything. So, if you apply it as a strength, God is going to find a way to reward you for applying it as a strength. For seeing him. Because not every experience is simply for you. It's sometimes, or all the time, simply to help the next person. Then he brought me to spiritually. This is the next point. Spiritual freedom. First up is simply overcoming. Once you feel like you've mastered that mental part, and you can just simply be you and wake up and just acknowledge that, dang, I got no money in the bank, or dang, I may not have a spouse, or dang, I could have this or I don't, but you still have joy. It's like, okay, if I'm meant to have it, I'll get it. So then we move to spiritual freedom. Once you overcome mental, man, you start realizing balance. How to balance things. Learning placement. Where do I place people in my life? Why are they here? Because sometimes we go into it out of low vibrations, operating in low vibrations, your self-doubt, not understanding your self-worth, feeling low about ourselves. So or depending on where you are, not just particularly low, but learning placement is very important. So you keep a balance. Learning placement teaches you where to place people, how to place your money, how to keep a friend strictly a friend, how to keep associate strictly an associate, how to keep a business partner strictly a business partner, how to keep balance. Then he said, you got to remove some restrictions. Because once you overcome mental barriers, God has already been doing that process alone. God will show you so many things that you can't even restrict him. You cannot place God in a box. You cannot place the Spirit in a box. So once you start to remove restrictions, God allows your mind to open up a whole nother way. You start seeing the world a different kind of a way. Then, however, that starts to externally show, because you feel it all through you. However that decides to externally show, you're able to be authentically you. That mental and spiritual is so heavily connected that once you realize your mental capacity and your mental worth and your mental strength, no one's opinion, no one's worry, no one's negative vibe can hinder you. Your vibration is so high they can't even touch you. You can be authentically yourself and unapologetically you. I'm sorry if I butchered that word, but this is really flowing and I'm liking it. Honor. You start to honor God in a different kind of a way, because you start to see so much more of the light, and you have so much more gratitude in your heart. You have so much patience in your heart. You start to give honor to people, honor to your brothers and sisters, honor to God, honor to nature, just honor itself. Just think about that for a minute. If you could define honor, when honor comes to your mind, what does that tell you? What do you feel when you think of honor? What pictures do you see? What feeling do you feel? What does it remind you of? Think of these things and start applying it. Simple as that. Then you start feeling the universal connection. Whatever your religion is, whatever your spirituality is, once you remove mental barriers, you can go back to your spiritual text, and the spirit starts to wake up a different kind of a way. Then you start making connections and applying things to your life, and start seeing the world how it really is, because it was already written before us, or already shown or told to us. We've just ignored it. So you start connecting the dots. Then I felt dedication, and however you feel, you are giving time and devotion to God. Dedication varies amongst the board, but be obedient to what you know is the level of dedication you should be giving. Don't be selfish with it. Not everybody should look the same, and you have to understand that God's will is not universal for everybody. Everybody does not have the same will and purpose. You guys that's viewing this don't have the same will that I have. You weren't called to this. You weren't born for this. And some of you may. But if that's you, walk in it. And just be authentically you. Life becomes so much more easier. You start thinking clearer. And you feel what love is. I'm going to be honest with you. That no race, no level of difference will separate you and keep you distant from someone, but yet bring you together. Saying, yeah, that looks familiar. I can kind of relate to that. I understand why you do that. Now the barriers are broken, and then you reconnect. For we live in a cipher, a circle, a world. You think about marriage, you think about the rings, you think about a continuation of life. So we're all connected. But yet we place blinders on our eyes that allows us to think that we're so different and there's only one right way. But there isn't. There isn't only one right way. There's good and bad intention, and everybody has the opportunity to create their own form of heaven on earth. Sounds familiar? A lot of church folks cut off the Jehovah's Witness, but they always speak about heaven on earth. Buddhists, Hindus, they always think about heaven on earth. You can live in heaven on earth. God created us in his image. He created this world. Whatever is in heaven, let it be on earth. They're universal. They're connected. You can have heaven on earth if you create it. That's where you have to remove the barriers. The sky is the limit to what I can have. You can have it right now if you put in the work to have it. Meet God halfway. You know, these are the steps that we're missing, that we completely disregard. And we're expecting, we keep talking about prosperity and God's going to give you this and God is going to give you that, but nobody's telling you the process that it takes to get there. So we sit there waiting, continually, still doing what we're doing with no change and no progression. And we're wondering why God has yet to bless us when he's still waiting to bless us. But no one's wanting to put in the work, whatever the work it requires for you to do. Whatever that work is, you know what it is. Trust me, you do. That voice on the inside, the feelings you feel when you start feeling heat, when you start feeling cool breezes, when you start hearing voices, you start seeing signs or numbers or whatever, you know what it is. But we brush it off. And the beauty of life, the beauty of God, the beauty of the Creator, he always gives us an option. And he gives us a piece of how each option feels. But yet we still try to fit in. We still try to do what everybody else is doing. So we're just going to go ahead and slip into that. And then we openly invite things into our lives. That comes into the physical. Inviting because physical and spiritually is connected. Because your connection with people, through your portals, your ear gates, your eye gates, even your private parts, people follow me. These are all portals and also parts of the chakra, which symbolizes centerment, balance, your oneness with God. You're letting people in, so start protecting your portals. Be wise in your decisions. Because I tell you, when you are, it is such a great reward. The reward that you will receive from the Father, and you guys have experienced pieces of it, because I know God has given you sporadic blessings out of nowhere. These are rewards. So he's shown you what it feels like if you just do it. But you got to overcome the mental. You got to dig deeper in the spiritual. You got to start activating some of these thoughts into your physical life. Protecting your portals, protecting your eye gates, protecting your ear gates, protecting your mind for what you allow in, protecting your heart and learning placement. Because a part of placement is protecting your heart. You must always be guarded at all times. You can't let everybody in certain places in your life. Be wise in that. Incomplete. Ask yourself, am I happy with where I am right now? In my physical being? Are there any changes or improvements? Why is it that you're scared to go to the doctor? Because most times you know what the response is always going to be. Because you know you didn't do what was requested of you. And a lot of times it happens because we have mental barriers. We don't purify ourselves spiritually. And those are connected, so they create toxins in our bodies. We're creating headaches because we're stressing and we're releasing all these bad toxins in our bodies. There's a science to this too, people. Wake up. And then we're not protecting our portals and being wise in our decisions. So we're accepting and openly inviting demons and situations and adversities into our lives that God did not originally place there. But because we operated outside of the will of God for our lives, your individual lives, you had to go through some things. And he's still asking you, when you going to wake up? Because I always ask people, if what you have been doing has not brought you any mental, spiritual, physical, or financial progression, what would it hurt you to try something different? Oh, taste and see. You can't even live in the overflow if you have yet to touch the abundance. It's not possible. It's not possible. You can't even get into the overflow without touching the abundance. And to get to the abundance, you got to work in progression. We are evolving beings. We are constantly changing. We are constantly seeing things if you allow yourself to. And you can't allow yourself until you remove the restrictions, until you open up mentally, until you start receiving spiritually and connecting spiritually. So you can't even touch any of that. Let's get these things in order, and it's going to alleviate and make way easy. That's how it works. Financial. Simply ask yourself this. I need some water, you guys. And again, thank you guys for watching. Financially, Is your money where you want it? Think about that for a minute. Actually, take a moment, write that question down. If you got some pen and paper, actually, I'm going to give you a minute and it probably won't even take long for many of you. Is your money where you want it? Now, this is where the work is going to come in. If not, what am I going to do, and how am I going to do it to get my money where I want it? God has given us all individual gifts to make us prosperous, and given us all a platform to share the gospel in whatever form that may be. Gospel meaning good news in westernized language. So use that gift, use that platform, use that opportunity to give back what God has given you. Put in the work. Stop being scared. Stop operating in fear. Stop telling yourself what you can't do, because then you're releasing restrictions in the universe that you don't need to have into the universe. Stop saying, oh, I'm nervous. Oh, I'm scared. Okay. Don't open your mouth. If you're feeling that, correct that thing on the inside. Correct that on the inside. Have that internal spiritual battle, overcome it, and operate in what you're meant to operate in. Because that very child, whatever you release, the power of life and death, the power of having and not having, the power of your yes and no, lies in this mouthpiece, the throat chakra, that connection, the movement of vibration, connecting. So you got to be careful with your wording. You got to be careful. So that goes back to your financial. Are you going to put in the work? Are you going to accept what you're here to do? Because most likely somebody's going to pay for it. Because there's more people like you, and you may be just a little bit better at it than the next person. Stop being scared to do what you want to do. If that's healthcare, if that's fashion, if that's music, if that's spiritual, if that's preaching, if that's teaching, whatever you're meant to do, do it. Because I guarantee you'll be more happy, you'll be stress-free, and God will always supply your needs if you operate in your purpose. And that's all I have for today, you guys. This was good even for me. I do one-on-one sessions too. I do group sessions. If you would like for me to come out, talk to your group, you want to just have a real life, a real moment, and a real encounter. I'll call them a prophetic encounter because the Spirit does take over. And you will have a truth moment. And I guarantee you and assure you, you will walk away thinking and applying the change so that you can see the result, because I'm a living testament of the result. And I've been battling with doing this. Even this morning, I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this. I don't want to, these people are going to just have to figure it out. And it's like, no. You are a teacher. Teach. This is what you were here for. Do it. And God will make a way for you. And I am very happy that I know I'm helping people. I'm very happy people are coming to me seeking help and wanting change, and then seeing the change. This is like a baby to me. And this is... And I'm a people person. Anybody that knows me know I'm a lover, and I'm a people person. And to see anybody down, or see somebody without, or see someone struggling, even animals, my mom will tell you, I get emotional. Because no one deserves to be broken. I know what it feels like to be broken. I've been there, but thank God that I saw it young, experienced it, not on a great magnitude, but I was able to get out of it and start helping other people. So change is real. There's help. There's always help. Stop being scared to find it because you're worried about what other people are going to think, because you're going to miss out on your blessing. So if you want to know more, if you want to sit and have a sit down with me or call me, you guys can inbox me. Peace and love, peace and blessings, and you guys have a beautiful rest of your day.